What's up, YouTube? This is Jay Wolf. How you guys been doing? I've been blessed. My mom was in the hospital for a little bit. That's she went back and forth twice actually, so that's why I haven't really gotten any videos up on any of my channels. And I don't know if I'm going to be putting up a lot on my other channels. There's a topic I really want to start covering on this channel a lot more that I recently have came into, and it's called Mgtow. Mgtow is a grouping of men that have got together and said their men are going to go their own way. It's men going their own way. It's essentially a men's rights group, but it's more than that. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. Before I get into what Mgtow is completely, I want to share my story with women a little bit and everything. I grew up with a lot of powerful women, strong women, I would say, not powerful, but strong women. My mother, my Aunt Joanne, and my grandmother. And I would sit and I would listen to them. Like, I was kind of an intellectual kid. A lot of other kids like to play around, run around, do stupid stuff. I like to sit and listen, and I'd listen to them talk. Well, I learned a lot of tricks. I would learn, like, what Mgtow calls shit tests. Now I know that they call those shit tests. They would do this to their husbands, and they would laugh about it, and they'd joke about it, and they'd talk about it. And my mom would talk about it with them and everything else. And I learned and picked up these subtle little tricks and trades. And I know because I used them on women. I was actually quite a bit of a player when I was a teenager. I met the love of my life when I was a teenager. I'll not say her name. We'll just call her, Boo Boo Kitty. And Boo Boo Kitty... I was in love with her madly. I gave up all that thought about, I was like 15, and I had actually been with quite a few girls from 13 to 15. I was like a player, and I never hung out with younger kids my age. I always hung out with the older group. That was just the kind of person I was, and I always hung out with girls. I was already being sexually active at these ages. And I met her, and all that went out the window. I wanted to be in love. I wanted to have family. I wanted all that at 14 years old. And I was with this girl for almost 4 years. And one time I caught her cheating on me with her boyfriend, and I forgave her for it. I just let it go. As she said it was a mistake. She didn't mean to kiss him, whatever. I heard she was doing a lot more. Then I heard she cheated with me with other people, but I let all that go. I found out later on that every bit of that was actually true. She really did do all that to me. But I stayed with her until she turned 18, and she was supposed to marry me, and she decided not to. My parents were even going to sign the forms for me so I could marry her at 17 and a half. Because, she was in a bad situation at that point in time. My mom could help take care of us, but still, she wasn't interested in that. She didn't want to do any of that. She broke up with me. I gave her 4 years of my life. I went through trouble, strife. I ignored certain duties and things, and even went homeless because I had an opportunity to do something else after my dad had ripped me and my mother off to go somewhere else, but I stayed in Sacramento for her. And then she just dropped me like that. Devastated me. I swore I'd never even care about another girl again. And for about 3 or 4 years, I went through a lot of women. I'm not a handsome man. Anybody that knows me in real life knows I'm not a very handsome man, or if you've seen my videos. But I mean, I went through women like they were cheesecloth. I didn't care. I didn't care. They didn't matter because of what they had done to me, and I was done with it. And then I met this other girl, and she proposed to me, and we got married, we had kids, and I fell madly in love with her somewhere along that line. And then she monkey branched me to an older guy with more money. I have the kids, and so after this, I decided to work on me because I had my own problems. There was my reasons that I chased her off too. I blamed myself completely. I took the whole blame for years after this. For years, I felt it was all my fault. And I started working on me, going to counseling, going to psychiatry, lessons on YouTube, and going to counseling appointments just to work out for myself, what issues I have with women and things like that. And to just every avenue I could, going counseling, talking to different ministers, praying, reading, just every avenue I could. And then I decided to go monk for a while, which was to fast and pray. And for about 3 years, I took a vow of celibacy because I just did not want sexuality get in the way of me, my family, my health. And I'm glad I did that because I wanted to focus on my kids. I wanted to focus on my mom, my house, and do those things. But along this time, I caught leukemia, so I stopped being able to focus on my house, and I got real bad sick. And I think I've told this story before, so I'll just fast forward through it. My mom was in the hospital for a year and a half, and then I got healed of leukemia. Glory to God. I know it was him because I didn't take the treatments the doctors gave me. I just stayed in faith and prayed. Same thing with my mom. That's why she's alive today. Glory to God. And I started making good money again. And there was more girls, so I got on dating sites, and there was these girls interested in me. And then this other girl comes along, and she's married. I didn't know that. Not until about, a month or two into the relationship when I found out, and it completely didn't devastate me, but it's like I was expecting it. That's what's sad, is I was expecting it. I was like, yep, go figure. That's a woman for you. And that's when I decided I'm taking a break. And for a couple months, I just went back to doing the celibate thing. I started focusing on my house. I lost about 40 pounds. I was feeling a lot better, working out. I've been getting a lot of things fixed around the house, getting to do a lot of father and son bonding with my boy and getting things done. Also, getting to spend some more time with my girl, and me and her have been picking out like different shows and dramas, or not dramas, but like sci-fis and horror movies we like together, and like we talk about them and debate them and stuff like that, kind of like they do in chat rooms. And it's nice. And then about 4 days ago, I'm looking at my YouTube videos, and I haven't seen Mgtow for a minute. And I'm like, bam, Mgtow, again. Well, I'll be. And there's Sandman again. And when I first started listening to Sandman, he seemed like super bitter towards women, and I cannot blame him at all. I mean, I've been down that road. It's a little easier for me to snap back from it because I have a really close relationship with my mom, and I have a really close relationship with my daughter. But it's hard not to be bitter towards women nowadays, and I get that 110%. But now I listen to his videos, and he doesn't sound bitter. He sounds like he's accepted it like me. It's like, look, women have a certain imperative, and that's where we're at right now. And until laws are changed, and until things make more sense legally for men, there really isn't a reason for men to get married to women or go into any type of common law marriage with them. It's actually very risky, and the risk no longer outweighs the benefits of it. And that's just a strategically, bottom line. It was just back in the 1800s when women were saying, hey, look, we're tired of being abused. We're not your slaves. We're not your little tools. And you guys aren't. You never should have been. And that was wrong for them to treat you that way. But that's literally how you're treating us nowadays, ladies. Literally. But I'm not as hardcore. I am a Mgtow monk now. I'm done with relationships. I want to focus on my kids and my mom. And if I get in a relationship, I'll be in my 50s and she'll be in her 20s, and it will be like 20 years down the road. And then that way I'll die in 10 years, so I can maybe outlast before she dumps me for somebody else. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, I just want to focus on family and life, and that's me. I'm not saying young men should not get in a marriage, but what's wrong with telling a young man, hey, don't worry about girls. Focus on your careers. You don't need a woman right now anyway. And just, biologically speaking, you could start a family whenever you want as a guy. I mean, you could focus on your career till you retire and then start a family. That's younger women are very attracted to older men. This is like common knowledge. And women right around 25 to 30 want to start having babies. So, I mean, at 50, if you're a man that's like banked up a bunch of money, saved a bunch of money, and has a wonderful house, money, and all the time in the world to spend with a young wife, I mean, who knows? That might not be a bad way to go, you know what I'm saying? And then you have your kids, and before you have to worry about being a grandpa, you're gone. So I'm not saying that's the worst way to live either, and nobody can say that's the worst way to live. What I find a little disturbing when I look through the Mgtow world is I find a lot of bitterness towards women with good cause. None of these men don't have a good cause. I mean, every single one of them have been hurt, backstabbed, abused, thrown aside by women. And not only that, by our culture, because schools are designed Sorry about the interruption. Schools are designed for girls. Most schools will proudly say that they do not foster a competitive atmosphere in their schools. And while they're stating that with pride, that is pretty much saying we make it where little girls can succeed and little boys can't. Because men succeed when they are under a sportsmanship, when they are compelled to compete against each other. That is how we learn. That is how we succeed. But schools, the very system, has been designed for women to succeed over men. And these are the things that Sandman talks about. But I think Sandman and a lot of the other guys go a little too far because they don't think there is any Nawals. They don't think there is any women out there like that. Well, I don't believe that, not one bit, ladies. I believe that there are Nawals out there because I have a mother, I have a daughter. I'm not saying they're Nawals, LOL, JK, but I'm saying that women can be and can be converted into Nawals. A Nawal, first of all, Mgtow guys, it's not the perfect woman. You're not going to find a woman to sit on her knees and serve you. That's not going to happen. And if that's what you guys are thinking going on strike is going to do, that's not. Because that's not why I'm Mgtow. And if any of you are Mgtow for that reason, you need to stop right now. Okay, this isn't about oppressing women and turning them back into like little slaves for us. The idea is we have become slaves for women. Women have become so entitled that it's time to change. And we can't make that change on our own going the own way. We're just going to be a bunch of guys that are hermits, not having babies, and our cause would die. What we need to do is we need to mainstream this. We need to get ladies involved. And that's why my video now is actually towards women. Back in the women's suffrage movement, there was something that was said. They actually repeated it on the new RDR game. You hear the speech being repeated when you pass by. And the excerpt I want to take from it is, I'm going to change it for men, but we are sons of mothers. We are brothers of sisters. We are nephews of aunts. Please, stop letting this abuse happen to us, ladies. This is just as bad as the type of abuse you guys took in the 1880s because it's even physical. Women can hit and abuse men in public and it's completely legal. It's completely okay. They barely ever face assault charges at it. If a man wants to press charges on them, they're laughed at, scorned at, called names by both women and white knight men. So, my plea and what I want to cover with Mgtow is hopefully a bridge of actually extending to women to understand why as men have gone this far as to that we're done with you guys. And you guys got to look at some of your own hypocrisies. Like there are all these women advocacy groups that are out against sex dolls right now. There have been dildos for like 35 years. And they're going after men for sex dolls? It makes no sense. Except for some of what the Mgtow guys say. Because if we have that ability, and like you guys have had your little Johnny in the drawer for all these years, then what happens? Well, when you guys go no sex, we can go, okay, no problem. And women don't want that. They don't like that idea. They don't mind taking a man. And ladies, let's be honest. You do this with your friends. If you're really in the wall, if you're really not a woman that's like that, hear me, listen to me. Ask yourselves, how many times have you gone out with a man for a sandwich? How many times you've gone out with a man just to get something to drink because you were thirsty? How many times you've been extra sweet to a guy you knew you had no interest in just so he would stick around and be nice to you or be sweet to you just to do things for you? And if you're really in the wall, if you're really a lady, you're sitting there realizing, yeah, we do these type of things to men. Now, let's not even worry about all that because Mgtow men complain about that stuff. You know what? Guys play around on girls too. We got our own manipulation games we play as well. And we do, fellas, own up to it. But I'm talking about the political and legal and educational ramifications that have happened because of the acceptance of women doing these things. Women doing these things has become socially acceptable, and that's the problem. When a man goes and cheats and acts bad, he is a dirty dog piece of shit. When a woman goes and does these same things, it's girl power. You go, bitch. You're empowered. And that's the way women act about it nowadays. And you got to be real. That's the way it's been. And because that's now a social norm and that's socially okay, in schools, there are more women teachers. There are more girls graduating schools with higher academia than boys. There are more women graduating college than boys. This type, if you're a mother, if you love your son, hear me. Women are destroying masculinity. Women are making masculinity a crime. Women are making it to where men are afraid to be men. This Me Too movement is absurd. Just for the record, I was molested by a man when I was a child, and I was raped by a girl when I was 18 and a half years old, when I was homeless. She took advantage of me while I was drunk. I wasn't interested in her. I didn't like her that way. She was going out with my friend, and when I turned her down, she went down to my friend and told him I tried to take advantage of her. Yep. Except, come to find out, this girl actually had a track record for it and was actually prosecuted for it, for doing it to a boy that was 3 or 4 years younger than her and under the age of 18. So she wasn't just a rapist, she was a pedophile. That's probably why she never tried to turn me in or anything for it. But she told him that, and it ruined our relationship for years. He came back after marrying her, after being hurt by her, after all these things happening, and he found out that she was a pedophile, that she was all these dirty, nasty things. But he immediately believed her over me. It hurt. It hurt. I did nothing wrong. I was a good person. I was standing by my friend. But because a woman said something, that's all that mattered. And now this Me Too movement is doing the same thing. We're not talking about the Harvey Weinsteins that have hundreds and hundreds of witnesses, and not just women, but men too, and other people saying what he's done to them. No, we're talking about one guy, one girl, his word versus hers, and he's got to prove he's innocent. That's unconstitutional. And his career gets ruined for it. I know another young man had the same similar problem happen. Girl straight up lied about him. Now, because the girl did lie about him and admitted it later on, he never got in trouble. But he got kicked out of school and lost a year of his education for it. Now that is horrible. The reason this young lady did this to this man was because she got embarrassed because somebody found out she slept with him at school. Yeah. Yep. That was the reason. That's why. So yes, men have a lot of reasons to be bitter, ladies. They do. We have a ton of reasons to be bitter. And when I speak, and I speak about these stories, you probably hear anger in my voice and everything else, but I'm a very diligent person in keeping my emotions in check. I want to speak with passion about these stories to infer the amount of emotional distress that these men feel in these situations, because I felt it myself. However, I'm past that in the emotional state of that I'm angry or bitter with women, because I'm not like these a lot of these Mgtow guys, they don't even want to talk to you. When they see other women doing Mgtow videos and they're talking about how men have every right to be feeling this way and everything else, I'm thinking, thank God there's women out there that are hearing us. These guys, they immediately think you guys are just trying to be evil and jerk your way into our situation and invade more of our male spaces. And you can't blame them for being that way. You can't. You cannot blame them for that. So, That's what I want to say to the ladies who are getting upset at this Mgtow movement. I'm Mgtow myself. I'm going my own way. And going my own way is I don't want to get into a relationship with a girl anymore. I just don't see it being financially a good idea for me, and that's the reason why I'm not doing it. And that's the important thing. That's not to the younger men out there. That's to the older guys. If you're not already in a relationship and with a loving woman that is a good woman, or if you're recently divorced, or if you're on the dating market and you're over 30, I say strongly consider the Mgtow monk lifestyle. That's all I'm saying, because financially, it is too risky for us older guys to even think about getting married, boys. If you're not already with the woman you love, I mean, think about it. There's bots, there's dolls, there's a lot of other things out there. Or you could just be celibate, follow the path of God. Everybody has their own way. That's what men going their own way is about. I'm not here to judge or pass any religious judgment, even though I am very religious myself, and I have my own personal beliefs about those things, and I necessarily don't think they're right. But I think you got to do what's right for you, and if you were going to go sleep with women anyways, what's the difference of that and a doll? Except the doll doesn't have STDs, and it doesn't, cost a bunch of money. Well, one time it costs a bunch of money and all that other stuff. So I'm not going to judge you if you go and do that any different than I judge you for, say, sleeping around with girls, or I'd charge you less harshly for not sleeping around with a bunch of girls, honestly, because now you're not even hurting any women. You're just doing your own thing on your own, saving your money for your retirement, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's the way you want to go. And I think that's important to understand too. But I just don't want to see young men, and that's what I'm worried about, because I'm starting to see, at first it was just, in 2009, it was a bunch of 30-year-olds like me looking into, oh, hey, Mgtow, screw ladies, huh? Okay, yeah, sounds good. I'm getting tired of them. All right. Now you have 14 and 15-year-old men looking into this, and this is very serious, ladies. And this is why it's disturbing to me, because I'm a father. And they're looking into this, and they're going, yeah, I don't ever want to date abroad. Forget it. That is scary. And when you look at the trend that happened in Japan, right? And Japan is, they're usually ahead of us on the curve on things. They are. There's these herbivore men, and they're doing the exact same thing, but it's starting to worry the Japanese government and the ladies and stuff over there, because they're not producing enough kids anymore because of things like this. Right now in America, we're not producing enough children to replace our growth. So I have gone on a huge rant about Mgtow, and I know I'm reaching my 30 minutes. I try to never make a video over 30 minutes when I'm doing a rant, so I'm not saying I don't, but I just try not to. But I just want to let you guys know and that there are reasons for why men are feeling this way. But also I want to let the younger guys who are interested to know in Mgtow that you need to think about, not all ladies are like that. I know a lot of these older Mgtow guys seem super bitter. And you hear other ladies go, look, don't think that. You hear ladies talk about it. Not all of us are like that. I want to tell you, as a man, not all women are like that. But you have to understand, a woman that is in the wall is just a purple pill person. They understand what's going on sociologically. They admit that women are just as manipulative as men are for getting sex or getting money, because they're more about gang and we're more about sex. But, I mean, honestly, it's just both of us trying to get what we want. So either both sides are just as guilty as that as each other. So you can't wrong them for that. What on the wall is a purple pill girl who's willing to help us change laws. And yeah, they might be worth marrying. Yeah, they might be worth having relationships with. And no, there's nothing wrong with that. There is something right with being smart about your finances, about everything. And if you do a prenup, you do a prenup with a lawyer, with the law. You make sure that she knows, that she's admitting she knows what's going on, so that she can't take your money. Because yes, men need to worry about that. And no woman gets to hide anymore behind. No woman gets to hide behind, well, I thought you loved me. No, you know what? If you're really in the wall, you should be saying, I'll sign a prenup right off the bat. And you should be more than happy to say his money's his and your money's yours and you go your way. If you have the kids and he has half custody and you have half custody, well, then there doesn't need to be a dime given to you. You need to go out and get a job, or you need to take care of yourself, because that's what equality is about. Okay? If you decide to be with a man and you decide not to work and you stay at home and then you leave said man or divorce him, well, then you don't have a right to say, oh, well, you got to pay my way because I don't have a job. That's not what equality is. That's the way it was before. So that's what we're talking about. And if you really are in the wall, if you really are, I want to see more ladies like this. I see a lot of them popping up on YouTube. I'm glad to see you, ladies. Thank you for joining the cause. I don't want to push you away like the other Mgtow men, but get real and start helping us. Stop trying to control the situation and make women not look so bad. Admit what's going on and help us change some of these unfair laws. That's what I would say. Well, thank you so much. I've been Jay Wolf, and you've been listening to me rant. And that's what really grinds my gears. I'll see y'all next time I'm on. Bye.